How about that? Little groovy intro, a little like that. I gotta play it again because I like that so much. I'll play it again. Hold on. Yes, very groovy. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Virtual Happy Hour. Glad you're along. I hope I got everything hooked up for you, and I'm glad you're along. First up, we put this up for I bring my wife lunch. She's got to jump on in a moment, but before she joins me, there is the line to the green room. We're line to the green room, and she's going to join us just a moment. If you're hearing me, thumbs up. Let's just check and see. Thumbs up. I'm to unplug the mic in just a moment, but all good as we are rolling right along. Got the wrong. There we go. Got to make the wrong one up. There we go. I think I'm still going. Yeah, we go. Okay. Impressive. Yes, very impressive, David. Yes, production value. The only problem is I'm trying to get that song the entire cut. I've got a demo version of it, and it's one of those. Did you ever download back in the day something illegally, maybe like on say 2004 or five, and you download something and they have some kind of it'd be a good rip, but there'd be like a voice in the background going, "This is a remix from Bob." So every 30 seconds or so, in the middle of a great song, maybe a great jam you just downloaded, this is a remix from Bob. So you don't really have the entire thing, but hey, I'm working on that, so we'll get that. So very impressive. Glad you guys liked it. I probably should have put up the virtual overlay as well. There we go. Here we go. Okay, all good. Before my wife joins me, actually, she can join me in a moment. I'm not allowed to join me as I'm going to actually bring in a mom cam here as I get to do that. Let me bring down this. Let's bring mom in. And don't come here because you want to join me and talk to mom as I bring this down. And I'm going to unplug us there. And mom, hold on, let me slide over. I'll just peek in and say no, because she wanted to join us. Mom, can you hear us? Over.
Over, I can hear you, I can see you, I can do you, I can be you.
One of the problems we have because we don't have our new gear yet. Let me put the volume up a little louder. Hold on. All right, go ahead, Bob.
I said, I can hear you, I can see you, I can do you, I can be you, I can, whatever I can do.
What did she say?
Are you on the moon? Are you underwater? Or
no? I said I can.
Hold on, let me turn it up even higher. Hold on. Couple cam. That's the wrong one. But mom cam. Hold on. Let me get mom cam up because it's actually mom cam. There we go. There we go. So, mom, what's going on? I can't really hear you very well. What's going on besides the wine?
Cheers. And I'm waiting for my delivery of wine from the University of Dallas.
They're supposed
supposed to be here today.
I didn't know University of Dallas made wine.
They do in Rome.
Well, this is coming from California, apparently.
Huh. Exciting stuff.
It is exciting stuff.
Did you participate? I'm part of her fundraiser.
Hey, well, you got to support the bonus granddaughter who's here.
She's not here.
Well, she is. Isn't she here?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe
she's still upstairs. She hasn't left yet. So what's for dinner tonight, Mom? Over.
Well, over. I had an invitation to go to Antonio's to sit down with Connie, but I'm still waiting for the delivery of wine because I have to be here to sign for it. Therein is the problem. Then I just got a text from your brother, and they're fixing tater tot casserole. Oh, are you needing some of that?
Yeah, we're almost out.
Oh, which one is that? I can't.
That's the
Journeyman.
Journeyman's Last Feather Rye Whiskey.
Rye whiskey. I need the Last Feather Rye whiskey. I need to write that down.
It's Journeyman's Distillery, wonderproof, handmade, organic, Last Feather Rye whiskey.
Organic.
Well,
we make it organic.
I need to make a road trip. I'm getting stir crazy. Rye whiskey.
Well,
make your drink kind of light.
And I'm sure they.
So, what's going on tonight besides dinner?
Well, I don't know that I'm going to dinner. I'm still waiting for the wine. So, I was a little nervous about going to sit down at Antonio's. So,
You'll be all right. You're in a good state. Indiana's a good place.
oh yeah, right. There's Elkhart's a landmine for COVID, but anyway, hey,
Well,
but
it's all
Connie
that
and I
healthy
sit in the
living you guys
garage,
do.
huh?
It's all that healthy living you Indianians do.
Well, I would like to think I'm healthy, just older than dirt. But anyway, so Connie and I were going to go at 4, but so the wine hadn't come
You're
yet.
gonna go to dinner at 4?
At 4, yeah,
That's kind of early, don't you think?
to eat dinner. Not if you're trying to avoid the crowds, but of course there's no crowds because it's 50%.
Because it's not dinner time.
Well,
Question for you, Mom. I have this question for you.
yes.
Because obviously the gambling is kind of slowed down a bit. Would you be all for? And I know you do this anyway, but what if you could play the slots in the comfort of your living room? Would you be all for that? If they would just had a way to log on and play for cash money, not just oohs and ahs, but would you be willing to do the 4 wins online? Is that something you do, or does that take all the fun out of it?
Well, you're going to like this. Yeah, it does take the fun out of it. They had an online slot games, and I played them forever. Then they changed when all this happened, and now you have. And I lost all my points that I had, and I had probably 3 million points, and they never answered me when I sent them an email. So I said, screw that. I guess I should get Adam to take care of that. I've heard from him.
That's cruddy. They should do what they do the airlines, because the airlines have given us all like status through 2022. I mean, I use them, American One World, but you kind of slide. There we go together. American's given me platinum. I mean, I was already platinum, but I've already qualified for platinum. But I'm going to go. They're extending it for folks that aren't traveling as much. I've been to Australia and back. That helped, but extending it through in Belize, 2022. The good news is I have a chance to qualify for a higher level because I've got now basically 2 years to get there. It's not too bad. So they should do the same thing for you, Mom. They should give you the High Rollers Velvet Dice Club, whatever it is they got for you.
Yeah, well, I rebelled, so I play slots for and I haven't bought. You pay in to start with. I play all kinds of slot games on my phone. It's just not the same because you don't. I mean, I win, but I don't win money. But speaking of the airlines, I am. Can I say the word pissed and not get kicked out of the family?
Can you what?
Can I say the word pissed and not get kicked out of the family?
Probably.
I am fighting, and I can't get anybody to answer. I got my refund from Chicago to Rome right away. British Airways. Portugal, I've done everything except stand on my head and stack BBs. And I still have. They're wanting to give me a.
Why don't you email me those details and I'll take care of them?
Well, I tell you, I did it through Orbitz, and anyway, it's all.
Okay. Well, either way.
Yeah, but they said Portugal's going to give me tickets that need to be used by next year. Well, who in the world's going to be going to Portugal next year? So there you go. I mean, I would.
Yeah, Portugal. Actually, Portugal's on my list of conference. They're not on my list, but I was going to talk about Europe a little bit later on. But I think Portugal and Spain are ahead of the game, but they're not quite out in front like Greece is, and the Czech Republic, and Germany. Germany's way out in front, and also the Finland, Sweden, Norway. They're way up in front too. Sweden never even went under, I believe. They never even locked down. The British, the UK, France is really timid. But actually, I think Italy's actually ahead of both France and the UK as far as looking at openings in July. So anyway, for what it's worth.
I mean,
send me those details, Mom. I'll get on the Portugal.
Well, I just thought, what if something happens with me and I lose that $400 or $500? Hey.
Well, you could also, maybe you could probably sell it too. I mean, it's something you can sell.
I would love to go
eBay
to Portugal, but who knows? Who knows? But anyway, all beside the point. So I'll get off so everybody else
All right, love you, Mom. That's Mom Cam
Yeah,
from Indiana. Love you,
tell
Mom.
Caroline I'm still waiting for the wine. It's supposed to be
Okay,
delivered today.
we'll pass it on, Mom. All
Okay,
right,
bye.
I love you. There's Mom right there.
Bye.
Mom Cam right
Love
there.
you
She's joining us.
guys.
See ya. She's joining us there from Indiana, and the wife here is. We're now back at the screen. You can actually move up a little bit closer, dear. I couldn't hear Mom. The air conditioning's going outside. It's 83 degrees. I put that up today. We are in day number 55, and it's 83 degrees, 84 degrees in the last hour. I just changed it Fahrenheit here in Dallas Fort Worth, so it's very. It's a little muggy, a little overcast. The sun has come out though now. We expect some major boomers. It's that time of year, May into June, even early July. We get those late afternoon storms. We're going to start getting those kind of blowing through, and we expect to have some tonight. Let me play catch up here. Hold on.
Do you need to put Fahrenheit next to that? Because if it was 84 degrees Celsius, it would be on fire.
It'll be like, well, that'd be like Jupiter, which is
fire.
actually on my list of things to talk about here at the bar today. Was Jupiter photos?
Oh, you're going to travel to Jupiter?
Well,
Will that make you platinum?
The photos of Jupiter. Have you guys seen this? Jupiter. Okay, apparently this is what's. I'm really intrigued by this. And now, as a religious person, I believe there's a huge universe out there our Maker made, and I'm not getting the philosophical of it with you guys, but there's some really cool pictures out, both the Hubble and what's the other spacecraft? The spacecraft that's out there doing all the tours of Mars and all that.
The rover. The Mars rover.
Well, there's a Mars rover. There's the Hubble telescope. And there's also one more craft that's doing circles around the universe, and they've gotten as far as 5 miles from Jupiter. Really, it's more like 5 million, but like 5 miles from Jupiter, close enough. They're able to get some pretty cool photos. And Jupiter looks like one wild ass place. Like it looks like my vision of what maybe
Mad Max,
maybe Hades would look like, hell would look like. I mean, it's on fire. I mean, this thing's got these crazy. There's one storm on the entire planet, on half the planet at any given time. And you look at the pictures, it's amazing. These photos, yeah, it's the largest in the solar system, I believe. And in our universe or whatever it is, and solar system, and you look at this planet, it's got these. Usually the photos you've seen before have been from a lot further away, but it's close enough. These photos, you got these little grooves, and you realize you look closer, they're like grooves of fire and openings of fire. And there's these little areas where there's this one big hole. Crazy ass storm that covers like half the planet. These mega storms. So my wonder is, what the heck is it like down the surface of that place? I mean, if it's like, I mean, you walk around your bungee smuggler and your
that's gross.
Your thongs and walking around, flip flop slap, little sunscreen on you as well. I mean, what are you doing? The SPF 1000 or 1 billion? I mean, what is it?
You don't need it. You just be on fire.
Yeah. If Jupiter is a state, it'd be Louisiana, is what Ryan says. Well, let me play catch up here. Some of you guys, let's see here. USSN lottery scratch-off ticket sales have skyrocketed since dictator Walt shut down the state. I wonder, and this is my theme, and I've kind of talked about this a bit on the T-Bone show, and really in general. When we come out of this thing, my thought is, and this is something that one of my church friends had said, I'm hoping that we come out of this thing that we're all better in a lot of different ways, and maybe one of those. Well, I think we're all hoping that's the case. Now, obviously the world's going to be different. I mean, you can't go to a business, an industry without it being changed forever. But my attitude is like, let's try to change it for the better. Now, granted, I was asking Mom kind of tongue-in-cheek about the online gambling, but I could see that becoming a thing even more so than it was before. Not so much the online slot machines, but I can see, and they've already got this in some places where you could gamble on horse races from your couch, but I can see a whole virtual sports betting casino from your couch where you would.
Probably not a good idea.
Well,
because you miss out on the ambient smell of smoke.
But it's smoke free. The booze is cheaper, and the gambling. But all they really want is the gambling money anyway. They don't care if you buy the beer or not.
Don't you want somebody else to make your drinks?
Well, yeah, but if you're at home, it's cheaper. The beer.
Yeah.
I heard a quote today. Who said this the other day? Oh, you know what? It was Ryan. It was on your show last night. Ryan Hyatt on his thing last night. One of his viewers said the beer's always cheaper at home. Amen to that. I mean, I don't care, except for Bash Rip Rock's back in the late 80s, early 90s, they had penny pitcher nights. I think it was Tuesday nights.
We had $2 pitchers in bars in State College.
Penny pitcher nights in Lubbock. And then Pat Green might come on stage and play a little bit too. No, he's doing a lot better now. Let's play catch up here. Yeah, Jupiter was a state to be Louisiana. Yes, kind of a banana republic a bit. And yeah,
fun in Louisiana. They have good Cajun food.
but I do love it. But yes, but the Jupiter photos amaze me. Have you even seen these?
Yeah.
I should have pulled some up for us, but it's amazing. And the fact that and I guess the whole thing, space is kind of back in again because you've got the space. There was a ceremony today. It's this new Space Force. It's not and I thought it was a made up group of
like
people.
Cops?
Well, yeah, I thought it was a made up group like Space Police, or it's actually there's actually a new and Trump had them at the White House today. There's a new group. It's space.
Are we going to build a wall in the middle of space?
I don't know, but it's
in outer space.
But I mean, they had a ceremony today, and then they're going up. Like, for the first time in 10 years, we're launching something on our own. And I guess is it this weekend or next? I mean, it's coming up.
Do you remember when all the like Star Wars, not the movie, but like I think it was during the Reagan and Bush when they were doing the Star Wars where the defense stuff, like to deflect missiles that were coming in, and maybe that's what we'll do. We'll build something up in case people are trying to.
Well, I think this is more
to illegally enter our galaxy.
I think this is more along the lines of the new NASA. But I mean, again, I didn't see. Granted, this is not the best prep for the broadcast, but I did watch the ceremony. It was kind of cool. It felt like something important to this new Space Force. We're actually going to launch. We've been doing the Universal Space Station. We've been doing that, but we're actually doing this the first time since the shuttle program. They put that on the ice, but this is kind of cool. So it's kind of exciting. Let's see what else we got here. Mom says she'll improve her wine drinking.
If you go
what is FanDuel? FanDuel is kind of a gambling. FanDuel, let me try to explain it this way. I believe it's more of it's a fantasy sports marketplace, stock market maybe, and you basically play fantasy football or fantasy sports and whatever it is, and you make money based upon performance of your team. You also have a budget, all that. What
was that thing that we did in Australia that y'all partnered with? You could sort of sponsor a team. You could get in and donate. You could help. You remember sports? I
don't know, SportBet or SportNet or something like that.
SportNet.
Yeah. Those guys are made some money, and they that's really big in the Emirates. I know in Abu Dhabi, in Dubai, and even in Doha as well. It's really huge in Qatar. That's a real big, especially
sports gambles in Abu Dhabi.
Premier League. Premier is huge. I mean, I've told you this before.
Go figure.
You go to you go to the airport in Dubai, and I've done this a couple times. I've transferred flights there, and they've got plenty of folks wearing Premier League kits. We call them jerseys. We call them in America, but kits, and all over the place. Whether it be Liverpool, Manchester, or they're wearing Italian La Liga or Serie A or whatever, Bundesliga. I mean, especially Premier League. Very big over there as far as soccer, and they do a lot of that. Let's play a little more catch up here. I think FanDuel will jump on the countrywide gambling. I think so too. And again, I think college
make a lot of people go belly up.
But I think college football and the NFL are in a good spot. Hey, mate, Kurt, they're in Brisbane today. Makes it about, let's see here. It's
speaking of hotter than the surface of the
sun. 6:40, almost 11 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. Yes. Well, although this time of year, Brisbane would probably be delightful.
No, I just mean in the summer.
Oh yeah, but I mean this time of year it's the winter in Australia.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the concept.
Let's not make fun of my mates over there, please.
I'm not making fun of them. I love the place. Sign me up.
It's a great country, folks. Great country. Good to see you, Kurt.
You just need to jump off the hamster wheel and retire to Perth.
Ryan says, FanDuel's where folks who don't think they gamble go to gamble. Sports are like Baptists buying wine at high-end grocery stores. Yes, I'm Baptist, and I'm probably the few that just goes ahead and does it anyway. but I do know some Baptists, and there were a lot that my mom
Yeah,
and
you're
dad
not
would.
ashamed.
My mom and dad went to school with Hardin Simmons, where especially I think my dad was a designated, as he rests in peace. My father was a designated wine purchaser for certain RE majors back in the
I think you
day.
did it in high school.
Oh, I did in high school. Yeah, I mean, it was very. I got invited to the cool parties as an underclassman because of that. So all good. But yes,
And because you were cool.
yeah, very cool. Mom says I'm a Baptist who liberated both. Yes, yes, Mom. If they can only see you now, those back in those mesquite bushes in Seminole, when you all had to go hide from the police because you were dancing.
You should be ridden out on a rail. You should be tarred and
Well,
feathered.
things are different now a little bit. I mean, it's a little. I'm not saying you should.
A little more progressive.
Well, you're not saying you should be, passed out in the gutter, then roll to the pew. I'm not saying that, but I mean, there are still, and I have friends of mine who still very much abstain, and I have nothing against that. And there's nothing, I don't think this house has become we're not doing body shots and keg stands for breakfast. We're not doing that.
No.
But we like to have our cocktails when we do, and when we do, we have a good time, and we don't, all good. Let's see here. Mom says, yes, that's what I was referring to. My dad was the rum runner to Azel to get beer with the. Yeah, well, yeah, Azel wasn't Azel, Mom. It was it Azel? That's a 2-hour drive over to Fort Worth.
Abilene, yeah.
Well, he would have done that back in the day. He ran to. There was a town just north of Abilene. Not Aspermont, but that direction, just north of this county line in Abilene back in the day, and that's which is very common. Spending my time in Lubbock, I can tell you this. Back when I was in school, and Ryan will tell you this. Back when I was in school, we had the Strip, and all the liquor and package stores are located just outside the city limits. The Baptist, other churches there, you don't want to have 7-Eleven selling beer. You want it out there away from everything. So we had the Strip. We had to drive out the Strip, load up, and the Strip was, 15, 20-minute drive from campus, but it was all the stores are located back to back to back, all on the side of the highway, on the way to La Mesa there, and you would go out there, make your runs, and that's what everybody went on game days. You went to the Strip. Hey, go to the Strip. And it was all lit up like the Vegas Strip. But now that since Lubbock County's gone, where you can bring in packet, you can sell it at 7-Eleven, the package stores have moved into town. It's a little different. But back in those days, it was not uncommon for towns like Lubbock, Abilene.
And horses brought mail.
Well, no, but it was like that even. It was like that in Dallas County. Remember, even until recently, as 10 years ago, Dallas County still has wet and dry areas. I mean, it's
hard to get liquor around here.
When we lived in Lake Highlands, we would actually, the Tom Thumb, the local grocery store by our house, was dry. But if you went an extra 2 miles to the east or southeast, there was a Tom Thumb right there on the edge of the other precinct that was a wet Tom Thumb with wine and beer.
But no spirits.
Then the spirits are located across the street at
the Baptist church.
And a liquor store. That's very funny. But yeah, it's still that way to a degree. It's not as much, but now you're seeing every election we have, some of the town votes in.
It was a big deal when Plano went wet, when they died, because they're like very conservative up there.
Well, not anymore. That's fully a lot of what they call Yankees who've moved there.
Or California.
Not a Yankee, same thing, pretty much.
Californians aren't Yankees.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, they're not. You think Yankee is anything north of 635?
Pretty much, but yes, California's a Yankee. Let's see here. Remember the name it started with? Okay. It was A and then Stanford. Yeah, towards Stanford, Mom. I don't know the name of the town. You're right on about that. Anson. That's the name of the town. Anson was the name of the town there north of Abilene. That's right. Kevin, let's see here. What am I missing here? Oh, wait, here we go. I'll take 2 bottles of whatever you got. This homeschooling person drink. My cousin down in Houston.
Yes.
I'm sorry, she's not in Houston. She's up here. I'm sorry. Heather's in Houston. Heidi, you're right to our.
Heidi's close by.
Heidi's close on the corner. Yes.
I have 3 boys. I don't know how you're surviving. I mean, they probably haven't been farther from 50 feet from you since March.
Yeah, she's got two
twins.
A pair of twins, and then the one younger, and they're awesome.
Adorable.
They're just adorable kiddos. And we were talking about this we watched the Wednesday night church deal, and what was a kind of celebration of motherhood, and the associate pastor had on
Or commiseration of motherhood in this pandemic.
Well, he had three moms on of various stages, and there were two of them. One of them was a bank CFO, and she had, was it three boys? And they were ranging from
10 and below.
10 and below, and she's also somehow running a. And her husband has a job too, but I'm
and
just
they're homeschooling her kids.
The homeschool her kids,
yeah,
yes.
like how do you do that?
Yeah, it's so.
And
hey,
the other woman had three under. Was it a 4, a 2, and a 4-month-old?
Something like that, yeah.
3 under 4.
So having what you guys do is amazing. I mean, I can imagine my mother back in, say, circa 1983, this going on with me in high school, Sam in junior high, and Chris in elementary school, and my sister running around trying to be potty trained. What a mess that'd be. I mean, just be a total S show. I can only imagine. But Heidi, good to see you. I'll tell Jonathan we said hello too. Love you guys. Hope you guys are doing well.
Say hi to the boys.
And that's how the boys there. Let's see, Mom. Sorry about that, Mom. We're going to play a little catch up here. Comments. Totally random trivia. What music video? Let's pull this down so I can read this. What music video? Oh, thermometer. A music video contain the line, give me a bottle of anything and a glazed donut.
I don't know. Something jumps. You don't know.
I don't know.
Give me a bottle of anything and a glazed donut to go.
I don't know.
I don't know if I'd like whiskey and a donut. I don't even like whiskey.
Don't know. I have to save that one for me. Ryan says he knows his beer towns in Texas. Yes, which means you'd know what Los Ibanes is, because Los Ibanes was the little town created by La Mesa in Dawson County, which was the little, La Mesa's, an hour south of Lubbock, something like that, hour and change, maybe a little bit more. And Dawson County borders Gaines County, where my mother's from. Now, Seminole, back in the day, was a dry county. The entire county was dry. There was no Los Ibanes, no little one-horse stoplight town with a blinking light, a beer stand. The folks in Seminole had to go to New Mexico and cross into the mountain time zone because it bordered Hobbs, New Mexico. And right there at the state line, there was package stores right there. You could cross into Hobbs and into New Mexico, 20 miles away, and that's where you got your booze. From La Mesa, which is another probably 50 miles or 40 miles to the east, Los Ibanes is a little town that was just right outside of us, where there was a state prison close by and this little package store conglomerate there. And now Seminole's got booze. So
Ryan always asks, like, what's the most Texas thing you've done today? Like, is it talk about where to buy beer in Texas counties? Which cities in Texas are dry? Are we the only state that does stupid things like that?
Pretty much. Well, yeah.
Or we can talk about blue laws. That's another very Texas thing to do.
Mom, I actually told this story the other day, Mom. I tried to study all of your boys. Your grades weren't good. The brothers' grades went up, and yours, yes. And I told this story to, I believe I told this to Caroline. There's the dog. We did our study halls in the dining room. And back in the day, when we lived over in Russell Leaf and Lake Highlands, we pretty much had a kitchen, a kitchen table, and there was the living room. The dining room, though, was someplace we ate twice a year. Usually Thanksgiving, maybe Christmas, maybe an Easter dinner, maybe. But it was a formal room. And when I say formal, it was carpeted, which you couldn't have kids eating on carpet, because especially in our house, it would have been a mess. But it was formal.
About carpet.
And it was a big wooden table that opened up, antique, had a cool little glass top. But we very rarely ate there. Whenever you sat in that room, that living room / whatever it was, dining room, it was a dining room. There was no TV in there. It was all old school photos, or not photos, paintings. Had a very old vibe to it. This is not a room I want to be in, because there was no TV, no distractions. But that's
why she put you in there.
So you're in there, and boy, I just sit there and I daydream even more. And I didn't have a just for the record, phone or anything to mess with.
He didn't study in study hall at school either. I mean, so it didn't matter where you put him. He didn't study.
This is true. Let's see here. First clue. What Cheryl's saying, Cheryl saying hi. Dan and Gay Marie, good to see you, Cheryl.
Hey, Cheryl.
Hope things are going well up there in Kansas City. And let's see here. Kevin says, first clue. Title contains the name of baseball team you mentioned during this happy hour. Oh. In this happy hour.
Baseball team. And this one, or like just happy hour as it's been? Because we haven't talked about baseball at all.
Not really. I may have mentioned the T-Bones, but
no.
That would, boy.
Is it a minor league team?
Yes, the Matters report those cards. Yes, and this is true too. I've heard these stories as well that you cross the, and that's why you never want to drive your. If you were a member of First Church, they'd call it. You want to make sure you rode with somebody else across the line. You didn't want to go to Hobbs, New Mexico, in your own car. You wanted to go and.
Why didn't the Catholics take advantage of this and convert all of you?
I don't think there was a.
Because you'd have not had to worry about
I don't think
any
there was
of
a
that.
large Catholic presence at that time. At that time, circa 1950.
That would have been easy. Hey, we drink beer. Come with me.
There was not a heavy. The heavy Catholic presence in Texas at that time would have been either in the South, like down in the valley, in the border, or the German towns along, San Antonio, around Austin, around that area, Fredericksburg. There weren't at that time. It was still. This is it's changed since then because now you have a large Hispanic.
And Baptists will drink. So there's no need.
Well, again, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm trying to be historical and you're being swarmy. I'm trying to explain the Texas history to some folks that are watching other places.
Okay.
At the time, to know your Texas history, most of the settlers post Alamo came from the South. They're mostly going to be Protestant of origin. The Germans more likely were going to be either Lutheran or they were going to be Catholic. Now, when Texas was a republic, and under Mexican rule and Spanish rule, but Mexican rule mostly to the country of Mexico, the Mexican government only allowed settlers from Germany, mostly Catholic. So you go down around San Antonio, Austin, you're going to see a lot of towns. You'll see a Gonzales next to a Fredericksburg, or a Goliad next to a Bernie. You've got all these different towns down there of most maybe they're Hispanic nature background or German or Czech or whatever. You've got a lot of that going on. So really down 35, you got a lot of that. So it's not uncommon that part of the state to have a heavily more Catholic than Protestant. Where in the northern part of the state, where settlers came from the South, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, they tend to be more Methodist, Baptist, whatever. And at that time in West Texas, this is way before now, but the 50s, it was more Protestant. Now with the migrant workers from the 60s and 70s, and now you have a really heavy, really great part of our state now, a Hispanic population that is in all over the state, and that's brought some of that influence too. So it's a little bit of a mix. And here in the city, all bets are off. I mean, everybody's every little of everything. You got folks that worship the plant in our backyard for all I care. But I mean, I get to see Tim out there. I'm going to play catch up here. Donna as well. Let's see here. Back to being serious here. MLB team name, yes, you said that, but not in the reference to the said team.
MLB team name, and yes, you said it during this happy hour, but not in reference to said team. So he mentioned a city?
Let me interpret that for you. MLB team name would be an MLB team name, not a city.
Oh, a team name.
The Dodgers, Giants, Mariners, Rangers, Astros.
Cardinals.
Yankees. Yes. I should know that because it drives me nuts, and I don't know if you folks in Australia are watching. And I think a few of my good close mates.
The song has Yankees in it?
That's what he just said.
I know. So what song has Yankee in it?
I don't know. He's got me.
Yeah, I don't know a song that has the Yankees in it. Unless it's a Yankee Doodle Dandy.
Let's see here. Mom says there's no. Yes, at that time there was not. That's what I was trying to say.
That's why it was dry.
Things have changed dramatically since that time, where now it's a lot different. Now the biggest churches in Seminole are the Baptist, the Catholic, and the Mennonite. There's a real large contingent of Mennonites there, and a lot of them have worked with my family, my grandparents for years when I was in school. So a lot of that out there in West Texas too. But yes, things have changed there. There's the guest line. You want to join us on the virtual chat? Love to have a virtual chat. The live, not a virtual chat. It's a live green room. You get you on the show as well. Where were we here? Yankee Doodle Dandy. Must be it. The one she can think of. That may be it. I think Cheryl's onto something.
That's what I just said. Yankee Doodle Dandy is the only one I could think of too.
Yeah,
But I don't think it has anything about a bottle of whiskey and a donut.
But there's like multiple verses. Couldn't Yankee Doodle do his thing like in verse 2 and have a donut?
Well, I guess if he stuck a feather in his cap and called it macaroni, he could buy whiskey and a donut.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see why not.
Makes about as much sense.
I don't see why not. But yeah, it's funny because when you go overseas, an American, especially to a Commonwealth country, where one of the former realms of the Queen or the King, they call you as an American. Well, there's several things you call you, but
they call us lots.
Well, they do call us a couple of things. One I don't like at all, but they do call us and use it to your face, and they mean it in a friendly way. And my Australian mates know this because I've always correct them when they say this to them. They'll say, "Hey Yank, you're a Yank. Are you a Yank?" And that always just gets my blood boiling. I'm like, no. It's like my connotation is New York Yankees. No, I think of that. I said, no, I'm a Texan. Or the bit is this. They'll say, hey, mate, if they hear the accent, they think Canada, baby, like middle of Canada, or they'll think the South, but they're not really. They're
you don't have a good twang.
But their reference of language in the States is either California for the movies, or New York for the movies, or maybe Chicago.
Or Boston.
Yeah, but for the movies, it's very movie oriented. They don't really think in the terms of. They think that anybody from Texas, again, they think they dress like Kevin did on Wednesday's show.
Yeah, or drive Cadillacs with horns on.
But that's not the case. So, but oftentimes they'll say, "Hey, mate, you're a Yank." I said, well, not really. Well, what do you mean? Where are you from? I said, I'm from Texas. And then always draws oh yeah, okay, yeah, cool, good on you, mate. That's always the thing. And then they want to talk about other stuff besides. They think you're from New York. They want to talk New York. Yeah, and they look. Oh my goodness, they do. They love to talk politics and what they do.
Everybody, it's funny. Everybody over there has just as many opinions about our president and the situation.
Kevin says you're halfway there.
Yankee Doodle Dandy.
Let's go back to the question here, back at the top. Totally random. He goes, totally random trivia. What music video contained the line, give me a bottle of anything and a glazed on to go?
A music video.
Yeah. He says we're halfway there. I don't know.
Well, because we got Yankee.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. You're having to help us out.
Yeah, you're going to. I don't know.
Normally, we're pretty good at trivia.
I didn't see Martha Quinn had a birthday, but that's for you MTV folks for the 80s.
We're usually pretty good at trivia, but not.
I would say we're really good, but
I said we're pretty good.
Oh, there goes the dog. How's everybody doing today? Other thoughts, other things I had today. I noticed today, and I've actually started finally looking at possibly traveling again. I've kind of come to the conclusion that may be in my future, that we may have a lot more time on our hands than I want to have. I'm not saying that's going to happen for sure. I'm praying that we play baseball in July in the minors, but just no idea. But it started having me think a bit about. I subscribe to dozens of travel blogs, and it's really my nerdy passion is travel and the airline business in general, as my wife will tell you. But I was looking at what countries might be opening and when, and what quarantines in different states. I guess my question to you guys is, are you going to jump on a plane? Take out of it that it may take you longer to get on a plane. It may be actually easier to board the plane. But right now, let's just say right now, I'm not talking about future TSA lines and if they have to take your temperature and you go through a cavity search or whatever. I'm not saying that. Whatever they do.
The temperature thing wouldn't be bad.
But I can see this being easier to get on a flight down the road.
The temperature thing would probably be a good idea.
I'll post the video on my newsfeed to tag. Okay, please do. Do that, Kevin. Do that. I want to see that.
Yeah, I'm curious.
But if you guys, are you going to drive someplace? Probably. I think that's pretty safe to say you're going to drive.
Like that.
And a lot of people are already doing that. I got friends of mine that have gone down to their ranch or farm or whatever, or just driven to see the family. I think that's going to happen. Are you going to jump on a plane? Are you going to jump on a plane? We have a friend of ours that husband and wife are going to Vegas when it opens up next month. You can jump on a plane and go to Vegas. You can jump on a plane and go anywhere. What are you guys going to do? I'm kind of the point now. I think a month ago, we first got back from, 2 months ago, we first got back from Belize. I was fine. It didn't hit me. The reality of it didn't hit me because we were down in Belize and we came back that day or that 21st of March. It hadn't hit me yet because we hadn't gone through it yet. What people have been going through for a week. But now being through this thing for 55 days, we've been in it. I got to tell you, I'm at the point now where I'm going to take my chances. Roll the dice. I'm going to take my chances.
Surprise.
Yeah, I've kind of come around to the point where it's either get busy living or get busy dying. That's the old line from Shawshank Redemption. And I granted, this is no political statement. I'm just saying personally for me, we haven't even talked about this, but would you jump on a plane and go to Greece?
To Greece?
Yeah, Greece. I'm just saying, just doing Greece. As Greece will be the first country open in Europe to tourists besides Germany, will be, I think, about a week or so.
I don't think I'd go to Europe right now.
Deutschland?
Not right now.
Hispania? No. La France? The UK won't let you in anyway for a while, but it looks like they're going to be. So you're saying no to. Okay, Korea?
I don't want to go to Korea anyway.
Japan?
No.
You see,
I go to Taiwan. I would go to Taiwan.
You go to Taiwan before you go to Korea?
Yeah, because Taiwan's clear. They've got it going on in Taiwan. I have a student that's visiting class from Taiwan, and they are like guns a-blazing.
You don't know yourself. You don't know your Oceania very well, do you? You go to Taiwan before you go to Korea, right now.
Yes.
Okay. They're about a wash, really. I mean,
I'd go to Taiwan. I would go to China, but I'd go to Taiwan.
Well, no, I'm not asking you there.
I would go to Mexico if it was remote enough. I'd definitely go back to Belize.
Yes, I think that's a
Belize,
given.
that's where we'll.
Actually, Belize is going to be. They're opening up international flights, rumored to be, I believe, in 2 weeks' time, into the month.
I'd go to Belize.
But that's not official. There's still some things to be done there, but Belize may be opened up again. Mexico, I did see.
Mexico's not reporting their cases, right? So I don't know.
Well,
Mexico. I don't know.
Your work in the Mexican Senate probably verifies that.
My work in the Mexican Senate?
Yeah, because you have no idea what you're talking about.
Yes, I do. I just read an article today.
And that's another thing. How many crazy articles are out there?
This was written by one of my students who's telling me his firsthand experience
Okay.
about life in Mexico because he has spent the entire quarantine in Mexico.
Well, where is he in Mexico?
And I think his parents have a house there.
Where? Not in Albuquerque.
Remote Mexico, because
like,
he said no one is around. They're not in Mexico City. They're not in a big city. They're close to the beach.
Gotcha.
And he was saying that the problem is that if you're going to the hospital, they're not reporting it as COVID because they don't want people to be afraid of COVID. So they're labeling everything pneumonia. And so the numbers out of Mexico are really wrong.
Okay.
That was in the St. Mark's Remarker today.
Cabo will be the first place opening up. So would you go to Cabo? It's going to open up like June 4th. Cancun right behind it.
No, because for other reasons. Mexico's kind of unsafe in those touristy places.
I've come around on this because travel, I have gotten sick traveling, and I've also not gotten sick traveling.
In Mexico with the water.
I've come around a little bit. Maybe it's where I fly on the plane. I don't know. But I mean, I've come around a little bit. That's the point now. And I'm not saying that you run out in front of traffic and get hit by a car. I mean, I'm not saying do something crazy. I'm not saying walk out and go to the COVID unit and roll around on the floor. I'm not saying that either. I'm not saying there was a shot of those LA prisoners in the LA County lockup. They're all wiping their face with trying to get COVID. I'm not saying be like those guys. I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying be ridiculous. But I mean, if you're smart,
I'd go to Vegas before I go to Mexico.
Okay. See, so my point is, you would travel again.
Depending on the place, maybe.
In general.
And if I knew they were checking my temperature, and if everybody was wearing a mask, and you know me, when we flew back from Belize, we had on gloves. I wiped everything down. I was freaked out. But we were on the first row. I mean, there's nobody in front of us. So there's nobody to sort of like breathe behind us. We wiped, everything down.
I live in Elkhart. You can travel here. Not ready to travel via plane. Anything around here, everyone's revving up those RVs. Yeah.
RV would be good.
I think there's a lot of businesses. I wrote my notes down here coming out of this. I think the RV business, when people start getting on the road again, is going to be a good thing. Maybe the larger luxury vehicle will be a good thing. I don't know. Maybe, perhaps.
I'm going to let you fly solo now.
Okay, bye. Be good. Be good. So she's got to go to a regime deal. All right.
An unofficial regime.
Some kind of school deal. But we will be right here. I'm going to plug in so I can hear. Well, actually, so you guys can hear me a little better. And I'm going to get a couple of topics off the list. Sorry about that. Because we roll in. We're about 10 minutes away from shutting things down. But let me. You guys still hear me? Correct? You guys still hear me? Thumbs up if you're hearing me. Thumbs up if you're hearing me. Thumbs up if you're hearing me. Testing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Testing. Sometimes I plug it in, it doesn't work, but got me? Great. All right, great. Glad you guys are along. Virtual happy hour. My wife just took off, and she's awesome. Love that woman. She is just incredible. Mom says she lives in Elkhart. Don't want to make the trip. Everybody is hearing me. Jeff Quirk, good to see your brother. Derek Smith as well. Good to see you folks out there today. Virtual happy hour on a Friday. Glad you're along. Got my beverage of choice today. I'm going to adjust the camera just a tad here. Couple cam always takes up a little bit more room. Just a little bit of an adjustment here on the old. There we go. But glad you guys are along. And still here we go. Glad you guys are along. Loud and clear, Dan. Good to see you too. Everybody out there changing back and forth. A couple things, and again, what if you joined us late? The idea of the virtual happy hour is just to sit around and chat a bit as we're a bunch of mates sitting around the bar, the pub, whatever. We're just having a good conversation, just playing catch up. We're not able to really meet. I'm not able to go to my favorite coffee shop, for example, that I go to dang near every day, and I see the same folks every day and have some of the same conversations every day. My men's group that I meet with twice a week, we've been doing it by virtual, by online. My T-Bones family, we're all doing it online. We're not even seeing each other in person. The ballpark is basically off limits because of all the restrictions that have gone on, at least in the state of Kansas for the time being. So we're all in this boat in various ways. Some folks are going to work, some folks, but overall, and the reason I keep going is because we're all still kind of in this boat together. Also, I need a little work on my broadcast, what I'm doing. And this is one way to kind of feed that fire. Number two, just to say hi to all y'all and just hope you guys are doing well and a little back and forth. So that's the main reasons there. Let's see here. The saying goes, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. That's true. And then Kevin also says, so Mexico is doing the opposite of the U.S. when it comes to reporting. Yeah, pretty much. Again, I'm I have a political city. I may bring up political things here on my personal channel, but very rarely, because I've found that lately the song politics, religion, or divisive opinion. But I will be more political here than I'm anywhere else. But very rarely on my broadcast, I'm usually very generic about it. I don't, so I have a way I view this thing. And so my view is not coming from any political view because I'm a conservative person and conservative from that side of the aisle. And I was one of the only ones a month ago in my group of friends who were all trying to get out. And I was like, no, don't. I don't want to be out. But now that I've kind of been out, yogurt shop and the Tom Thumb, and really just realizing that, hey, I probably had this thing when I was in Australia anyway, got really sick and got over it. And, and when I was in Australia in January, February, it was all over the place. And I was in the arrival hall at Sydney next to every person around that part of the world coming in. I survived. So, maybe I'm I've been trying to live on the edge. I don't know. But whatever the reason is, the last 2 or 3 days, really since Tuesday, I sort of realized that it's time to come out of this thing better. And I realized that in my life, I've been doing things better. For example, like this, for example. This is one little thing I learned to do. So I can pull it up. This is something I learned to do. I can find it here. I learned to do this. This is ridiculous, but it's something I learned to do. I mean, that little ooh-ah moment right there, that graphic, that ooh-ah, is something I learned to do. I mean, I learned to do that tutorial, and I would not have done that if not for this time away from the office. This is during normal baseball season. I don't got time. I mean, I literally don't have time. By the time I'm there at 8, 9 in the morning to 1 in the evening and 1 o'clock at night, and I'm home asleep for a few hours and back at it, and on the road with the team, I just don't have the time. I love what I do, but I don't have time for extra tutorials and nonsense. I just don't have time for it. But now I've got time. So I'm taking the most of it, trying to be better at what I do. So my thought is, overall, are we better at what we're doing and everything? And I think we've come out of this thing and maybe my attitude's changed a bit because why not make the most of this time away? I mean, if I'm not going to broadcast games this summer, which I have no idea that's going to happen or not, let's just say I don't. Am I going to try to experience some adventure and love with my family? Am I going to spend more time with my wife that I haven't done? I'm going to do some great things with that and come out of this better when we do come out of it. Just get busy living. I'm not trying to get sick. I don't want it. My doctor told me you don't want it. But at the same time, I'm not going to be an idiot and go out and do something I shouldn't be doing. And so I guess my question is, and we're not quite there yet, but I think by July, and I'm talking about July, I'll jump on a plane in July. I'll jump on a plane. If we're playing baseball, I'll have to, because I do fly sometimes back and forth between Dallas and Kansas City. It's very, very common when the T-Bones play down here in Texas against Cleburne or Grand Prairie. I fly down the night before or the morning of, so I can, A, it gives the team an extra room in the hotel for a veteran, and B, I can sleep in my own bed. And I do that often. And I will oftentimes try to get some work done in the morning and fly down that morning or whatever. So it's not, I'll be on a plane anyway. So I started thinking, I'm going to be flying from Dallas to KC. What's the difference from flying from Dallas to Vegas or Dallas to Cancun or whatever? I get sick, I'm going to get sick, right? I mean, anyway. So that was my thinking there. I mentioned Jupiter. You guys saw the Jupiter photos? Do you guys see these? It's cool. I mean, cool. Jupiter's like a really crazy ass place. I mean, I meant to, gosh, I forgot this. I saw this afternoon on a science blog that came across my Google News, and you sometimes get things you're going to like go, apparently, and this is really cool. We live in some really interesting times. guys, don't know what happened. It just went down on me. That's. I don't think this time it was a bad internet. It just went down on us. We actually added another extender. I actually bought a Wi-Fi extender for the upstairs, and I got one this afternoon for the downstairs. And we've actually, the internet's been pretty good the last couple of days. Sorry about that, but it was all, everything went down for a moment. I don't know if it was. I've got plenty of bars and the extender's working fine. I got one right behind me, which actually taking the signal from around the corner here. So we're fine on the patio. Sorry about that, guys. I know a lot of y'all just went away, and I don't blame you. So we'll kind of close things down. But I think that lately was just bad internet. That one just went off for a moment. It just went down, and it's back up, and we're all good. And I'm looking at the screen here. It's showing it's all good. Comments here. Yeah, I disappeared. Kevin says he overcame his fear doing Facebook Lives. Yeah, that's been a good thing. And I think that's the point. My goal is to come out of this thing better somehow, some way, whether it be spiritually, professionally, in my home. And I think those are all things we can all, what it is you do, whatever it is, you want to be a better best friend, better father, better whatever. I'm trying to be, I'm getting bonus time with my wife. I mean, I usually, like I said, I'm flying back today. I'd have flown back to Dallas tonight and spent 2 days there going back to Kansas City. And she'd still be in school another 2 or 3 weeks probably. And I would probably not see her for 3 weeks. And this is a bonus opportunity for us as a couple. And I'm able to spend more time with, so I'm trying to make the most of that and trying to do some things like that. As I mentioned, editing video and little odd, the Open. You saw the Open today? That's a new program I purchased for a year's subscription. And in case you guys missed it, you'll see it. I'll play it to close for you guys just to just show you what I did. I'll close. I'll do a closing video for you guys next week, but little things. So anyway, glad you guys joined me today. I'll give you guys a chance to kind of chime in, anything I want to chime in about. And we're glad you guys are along a virtual happy hour here on a Friday. Monday, same time. It'll be 5 o'clock Central. We will do the very same thing. I still have got video loaded in. I haven't played it yet. I've got the Tequila Fiasco, which I'll play for you guys on Monday, perhaps. But let's see here. I do want to talk on Monday a little bit more too, and I think after this weekend we'll know more, because this weekend in sport, NASCAR's coming back, and I think we'll know a little bit more this weekend how. I think obviously sports what I do, so it affects me the most in my house. But Ryan Hyde, who's with us earlier, did a really good show last night. I watched the tail end of his thing out in Lubbock, and it got me thinking. He's really good at getting me thinking, and I kind of took his topic and thought it more and more, I don't know, a tunnel vision view, but. Sports are going to be different. And that's why I mentioned earlier about the whole gambling thing. We'll talk more about that on Monday. But, I mean, I envision a place, and the more I thought about it, what's been missing is connecting the home theater, home couch experience with the experience of being there. But I think now we're at the point where people have now, the pain in the butt of being there is now almost not worth it. And I think you're seeing a way that, it's like one of the movies. I mean, you're seeing more new releases now on Netflix than you would never have seen in the theater. So things are all changing. We'll talk more about that on Monday. Good to see you, Casey. Hope you're doing well with you and your family up there in Kansas City. Yes, be glad to have someone to interact with. That's true, Mom. Very true. But again, they're coming out of this thing better. Church, commerce, sports, travel, all of that. I think we all, and hopefully, and I think we come out as a better people. I mean, I hope so, for what it's worth. Again, now we'll do this on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 o'clock Central Daylight Time, 6 o'clock in Perth, which would make it 9 o'clock in Brizzy, and all points in between, as we will do this virtual happy hour, chat a bit. I hope to replenish my beer stock, because my mom, by the way, the Journeyman's is no longer. So hopefully we'll have that for me. Hopefully get a little beer, punish the supply here because I'm out. Oh, by the way, yes, I want to show you guys the new intro. I'm kind of proud of this little software I not invested, but bought. I'm going to give you guys the full screen version of it so you can see my open and close, my new open. Let's see the new. Here's the new open. How about that? See, I would have never done that if we were playing baseball right now. I mean, I would have not had time to dive into that and find out how the hell can make my show better. I mean, I had time in the off season. I'm always working on my shows, but I never thought about, hey, how about an intro video to make it, and how can I do it easier? Yeah, I'll see. All right, guys. Love all y'all. Glad you're along. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Please hug somebody close to you. Tell them you love them. And we will see you. Please be safe and have a great rest of your weekend. We will see you guys on Monday, 5 o'clock. Don't forget on Wednesday, the T-Bone Faithful. You can watch the T-Bones Extravaganza, the Steakhouse on at noon Central Time. Still lining guests up right now for that. I'll tweet that out for you guys. I'll let you guys know on Monday how that looks, but trying to work on a guest for the show on Wednesday. But again, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 o'clock till whatever, kind of a 2-drink minimum, if you will, as we have a little chat on the patio. The weather's good, and the dog. Actually, I'm going to give you, Max, show everybody why you're, let me show you Max. Here he is. Here he is, folks. Look at him. Max, say hello to the world. Oops, sorry about that. He's wondering where Mom went. There you go. Hey, buddy. Tell the world bye. See you later, everybody. He's not interested to be on TV. He usually is, but he's not interested at all. But all good. Let's put the close sign up for you guys, and let's close this thing out for a Friday. Have a great weekend, and we got to figure out what takes for dinner tonight. We got to figure something out. Something out tonight here in our house. As Max is like, he's like, I think he thinks that he's in trouble, but he's not. But he's sort of like lurking around. And hey, buddy, say hi to the camera. No? All right. There we go. Close sign is up. Happy hour sign also going up. Glad you guys were along today. Have a great rest of your weekend, everybody. We'll see you guys on Monday.